What's up guys, and welcome to today's video. Today we are going to be talking about net carbs and sugar and kind of like how you can track net carbs, and then also kind of my approach and my opinion on doing that. I know that there's like a lot of, I don't know if there's necessarily confusion around it, but just, some people don't really know how it works, and I like to know the science behind things, so I did a little bit of research, and I'm going to dive into that here. But the reason that this topic got brought up is because I posted a picture last week on my Instagram story when I was at the store, and I thought I saved the picture, but I can't get it. So I'm going to show you a screenshot of the nutrition label that I posted. It is on a drink that I found in the store by the company Bai, B-A-I, and the line of drinks is called Bubbles. Sorry, I'm looking at the nutrition label here. So it was Bai Bubbles Black Cherry, which I was like, oh, cool, like fun drink, black cherry, like I'll look at it. And the picture that I posted was a little bit different than what they have on the website, which just goes to show the discretion that the FDA allows on these types of things. But the screenshot that I will include here says that the Bai Bubbles Black Cherry drink has a total of 5 calories, but it has 11 total carbohydrates. And then if you look under total carbohydrates, there's 1 gram of sugar and 10 grams of erythritol. Now, we're going to get into what erythritol is. We're going to talk about food labels and ultimately about net carbs. Now, I will say I have some notes here. I have a Word doc open where I took all my notes, and I will include relevant links. I think there's only one link, maybe 2, that I will put down in the description box for you to check out, and I encourage you to do your research as well. And another thing I want to say is, I had a couple people message me, and they weren't saying that like I was wrong. They were just like, hey, like this doesn't make sense to me. Like I'm not sure what you're saying, because on my photo I was saying that nutrition label said that the drink had 5 calories. But if you look at the carbs, it would be 36 calories because there were 9 carbs and there are 4 calories per gram of carbs. So 9 times 4 is 36 calories. And this is where the issue of net carbs and erythritol comes in. So with that whole preface, let's jump into this. Okay, so first, what is erythritol? Erythritol is a sugar substitute. It is a sugar alcohol. It's a big hit because it sweetens foods without adding a lot of calories. So, you see this in a lot of different things. Like if you look at protein bars, typically in there, they're in sugary, it's quasi-sugar drinks like this. Basically, the thing with erythritol is it technically cannot be digested by human bodies because we do not have the enzyme to digest it. So the argument is that erythritol passes through our body virtually unchanged, and we excrete it through our urine. So if this is the case, then that would effectively make erythritol and other sugar alcohols 0 carbs. Secondly, we're gonna talk about food labels. So obviously the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, is in charge of this whole area. And I went ahead and did some legal research, which I will include the screenshot of the citation that I will be talking about right here, just so I can show you. But basically, the FDA requires total carb count, including the amount of grams of sugar and sugar alcohols and fiber. So that's why you see underneath the carbs, it'll say, sugar, how many grams, erythritol, and then you'll see fiber on there as well. Now, the thing with sugar alcohols, erythritol, is that it has less impact on blood glucose because it's only partially converted to glucose, not 100%. So like I mentioned earlier, it virtually passes through the body undigested, which means it's not going up into your bloodstream, therefore it's not going to affect your sugar levels or your blood glucose. Now, like I mentioned, the FDA does allow some discretion. And I was like, you know what? I really want to know what the margins are, because everybody says it, or maybe you haven't heard it. Maybe this is the first time you're hearing it. The FDA allows food labels to not be totally accurate, and that's fine. That's up to them. That's their regulations. It's the law. We live in a country where we follow the law, hopefully, or else you're getting prosecuted. So I found the citation, and here's the screenshot. It's in the Code of Federal Regulations, Chapter 21, Section 101.9C1. And the title of that is, like you see, calories, total calories, or calories. So this is referring to the area on the food label called calories, okay? Shocker, I know. So it says a statement of the caloric content per serving expressed to the nearest 5-calorie increment up to and including 50 calories. So if the food is 0 to 50 calories, like the drink that we're talking about, they can manipulate it within a 5-calorie range. The statute goes on to say, and 10-calorie increments above 50 calories. So if the product is more than 50 calories, then they can manipulate it within a 10-calorie margin. And then it notes at the very end, except that amounts less than 5 calories may be expressed as 0. So that's exactly what it says. You know, if it's less than 5 calories, they can slap a 0 on there, sell it as 0 calorie, and that is marketing that gets people. I'll come back to that in a moment, but third, we're gonna talk about net carbs, okay? So net carbs are essentially the total carbs on the label minus the grams of sugar alcohol or erythritol. So on the food label that I included here, there are 11 total carbs and 10 grams of erythritol. So that would leave one carb, which would essentially be 4 calories, because like I mentioned earlier, there are 4 calories per gram of carbs. But you'll see that the nutrition label says 5 calories, which why would they want to put more calories on there than it is? I don't know. Maybe people like multiples of 5s. Like maybe 5 is just a nice round number that is clearly within the federal regulation that I just read to you. So even there, the label is still not 100% accurate. Now, I know 1 calorie is not a big deal. Like it truly is not. It is so small. But if you're serious about, you know, your fitness journey and like being accurate and making progress, you will practice accuracy in every single area. Like you will not inaccurately log your food. You will not take a bite of something and not track it. Like if you're serious, then you got to be disciplined. And you know, that is somewhat extreme, but again, I am a big proponent of, you know, accuracy in terms of nutrition. So back to net carbs, it is the total carbs minus the sugar alcohols, but this is not entirely accurate because some of the sugar alcohol is absorbed by the body. I will include the link below that I found this. That link will take you to an article that was written by a physician, and she discusses how half the grams of erythritol, about half, are metabolized to glucose. So she kind of goes into like, if you really want to count it, like count half of it unless it's like a certain range. And I don't mess with that, okay? Like I'm not about it. I also wanted to note that there is no legal definition of net carbs, and it is not used by the FDA. So somebody somewhere just came up with this concept, which is scientifically sound. I just personally do not do the whole net carb deal. So basically, my opinion, like I just mentioned briefly, is I really promote accuracy. I've never had someone tell me as a macro tracker to just track net carbs because like that's just not accurate. You know, it's scientifically sound. Like I said, I wanted to look this up and figure out what the heck's going on. And I responded to those people on my Instagram and said, hey, like, thank you for pointing that out. Like, I think that's one way to look at it. Like, I don't think you're wrong. I think net carbs are a thing, clearly. But I don't do that. Like, I only track the carbs that are on the label, regardless of the sugar content, the sugar alcohols like erythritol or fiber. I keep track of proteins, carbs, fats, and I do watch my fiber. I don't try to hit a certain number every day, but I do keep track of it, which is easy because it's already in my FitnessPal. So for me, when I am trying to help people along with their fitness journeys, I am not going to tell them to track net carbs. I am going to tell them just, you know, keep it simple, honestly. Net carbs just make things more complex. And if you're just starting out on macro tracking, like you really got to get the basics down. And like I said, I promote accuracy. I do not do the whole net carb thing, but it is, you know, the science is there. If you want to do your own research, I encourage you to do so. Drop your research below. I really couldn't find that much. I try to get on like PubMed and try and find stuff there, but that's more like research articles, and there was like nothing really on this. But I did do my legal research because, you know, I'm in law school. If you're new here, I'm a law student. So I wanted to go ahead and include that for you guys because I'm just a huge proponent of knowing the science behind things, and obviously like the legal profession is a big part of my life. And like if you can back your shit up, like no one can question you. So that goes back to the message that I also wanted to put out there is if I receive a message on Instagram or at any platform really, and someone is like not arguing with me, but like they have a different opinion, or they're like, hey, like I'm confused, you know, what's going on? I will never be like, shut up, you're ignorant, you're wrong, I'm trying to help you. Like, no way, not at all. Like I'm a very open-minded person. I can admit when I'm wrong. Like it sucks to admit we're wrong. Like nobody likes to do that. But I am like so willing to have a discussion. Like people, like treat people with respect and they will respect you back. Like I messaged one person back and I was like, hey, like I mentioned, I was like, yeah, I think that's definitely one way to look at it. Like I don't think you're wrong. And I was like, I'll actually do a YouTube video on this because I've actually had a few people message me. And she was like, thank you so much for the kind response. And I was like, wow, I feel good. Like she's happy. We're working together here. Like this is awesome because the end goal should be to inform people of what the heck is going on, you know? Not just like throw some bullshit out there and be like, well, I know what I'm talking about, so you have to listen to me. Like that's not it at all. And like this provided an opportunity for me to learn because personally I have always wondered like how net carbs work, and I've just never looked into it because I've never had a reason to. And she also told me that her major is dietetics and nutrition. So I was like, girl, you are providing me an opportunity to learn. Like I can come to you for questions. Like this is great, okay? This is why I created my accounts, both YouTube and Instagram. You've heard me say it multiple times. I created my accounts to connect with like-minded people in the fitness industry, and it is just so dope when it happens. Like I live for this. Can you tell? Like I live for this, okay? So with all of that being said, let me know what you think about net carbs. And if you do any research and you find anything substantial, let me know below. I would love to have an open discussion about this. And if any of you guys are coaches, what you tell your athletes, or if you're being coached, what your coach tells you. I would just like to get a general feel for this because I honestly feel like net carbs are a cop-out for marketing, and that is a topic for a whole other video. So if you watched until now, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Please like the video, please subscribe before you leave, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.
Take a look past the innocence.